Okay, so let's get ready to have some fun. Before we get started, let's just go over our supplies just to make sure we have everything and we know what we're doing. The first thing I want to talk about is the colors. We have green, yellow, a mixture of gray, some pink, white, and black. We have a cup with some water in it, which doesn't come with the kit. We also have a paper towel, which I like to fold. We have a plastic apron. We have our brush. And we have our spatula. And today in the corner here, we have a styrofoam plate, just in case we need to mix a few colors. So let's take our brush and open up the colors that we're going to begin with, which will be the green and the yellow. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start by making some grass blades. We're going to just pull some blades right down in this area here, here, across the flowers here, here, and here. Now the way that you do these flowers, I'm going to show you on a dry brush, just with some water, is you take the brush, you hold it at an angle, as you slide it down, you twist it slightly, and you see how it gets fatter? See how it went from skinny to fat. You could even come right next to it and add another line just to give it the width. Now if you see that, you're looking at water on a black canvas. So this way you can get an idea of how the brush strokes work. Now we're going to do it with some actual paint. So let's start with the green. Just going to put a little bit of green on the brush. We're going to go over that same area. Just going to angle it, twist it as I come down, let it separate. You just want to know where things are. That tells us where our first grass blade is going to be. Go back, make another point. Let's just go over it. Now we're going to fatten it up a little bit. Just like I showed you, go right next to it, and you just draw another line right in it. Now this kind of gives you an idea of where the flower is. Now let's pick up a little yellow. Let's just introduce some of that into the painting. A little bit more. Come right in here with it. There. See? And just pull it right off the canvas. Now you can detail it a little bit. Just going to come right back up at the top. See that yellow that's thick? Just going to go right over it. Thin it out a little bit, and it just gives a little bit of coloration into the grass blade. Let's do one more. We're going to be doing a bunch of these, so don't worry, you'll get it. It's going to come over here, come right off the side, straight down on an angle, twist the brush slightly. There's another one. Now again, let it feather, because at least it shows where you need to go, so you don't need to worry. You could always go back and do another one. Put a little bit more color into it. Flatten it out a little bit. Let's make it a little wider. So we'll come right here and just add a little bit more width to it. See, we're building it nice and slowly. We're not in a hurry. Now we're going to introduce some yellow right here on one side. See? Now we'll take some more green, maybe refine this tip a little bit, go right over the paint that we put on, and just come down like so. Make sure you go right off the canvas. See? Take the side of the brush, then you can soften it up. There's another leaf. Let's do another one. Taking some more green. Let's come right over here. Just going to make this one a little shorter. Go right over our flowers and pull right here. See? Slowly but surely, we're going to build into a bunch. Let's give our tip back. See? Fatten it up a little bit. No point in our grass blades being on a diet. Take a little yellow. Let's introduce some of that into it. Right down one side. There. Now let's soften this up. There. We'll go back over these in a few. I just want to kind of indicate where they're going. Now me, I like to come and cross over some. So let's do one of those right now. We're going to come right in here and we're going to cross right over here. Here, let's just do it. Cross right over it. And then let's slowly build it up. Doesn't look like much right now, but it will in a few. Let's just leave it like that. There. Now, I don't want to take out too much of this. I like that. I like that little separation in between. I just wanted to show you how you can take and go at any angle, because they're grass blades. Introduce some of that yellow. Don't want to lose. There you go. That's good. Now let's just do another one over here. Let's come over here. Let's take and just bring it right here like that. Introduce some yellow. Kind of getting the idea? And then you could just take and put some green on the brush. Let's just soften up that yellow right there. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. You see how if I make anything fatter, it's around the bases where I leave the tops thin. Let's just soften this one up just a little bit. Just add the, there you go. There you go. Now you see how it looks a little bit realistic with the crossover? So let's do another crossover. Let's find some more. Maybe there's a crossover that goes right over here. See? Right there. Now again, I don't want to lose that little line in between. That helps show a distinction and it adds a little character. Just adding a little yellow. Put a little bit more. Right along the front. Oh, that's nice. Soften that up a little bit. Oh, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. You see how I haven't cleaned my brush, haven't used any water. Now let's go back here. Let's just say there's another crossover that maybe goes here and crosses over both of those. Ah, that looks so much more natural. That looks so much better. And then let's just fatten up our bottom a little bit here. Oh, yeah. Cutting right in the front of two of those. Cuts in front of this one, cuts in front of that one. And you see right now, again, it doesn't make much sense, but it will in a little while. I'm just introducing a little bit of yellow. There you go. Just soften this up by just going right over it with a dry brush. Almost blending it right in. Let's just fatten up the back. Yeah, this one can go right off the canvas like that. Now let's take a quick look at what we have. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grass blades with little accents of yellow in them, green. Some of them cut across, and others are just going just like they normally would. You could even pull some this way if you wanted to. But for purposes of this painting, we're going to just keep it simple, and we're not going to worry about that. Now, we're going to pick up just yellow. And we're going to take that yellow and we're going to find one of the 3 tulip bulbs. We're going to go right in the middle of it, and we're just going to pull down and say this is going to represent what's holding up the flower. It's not a grass blade. Go right into the yellow again, find another bulb, go right in the middle of it, and pull a little stem. Take some more yellow, find the 3rd bulb, go right in the middle of it, and we're going to pull the last one. There. Now those bright yellow lines are going to stand up against the grass blades to represent where our stems are. See? There. So we have tulip 1, 2, 3. Just make this one a little bit different. Let's go right here with that one. Yeah. And pull that right off the canvas. Right off the canvas. Right off the canvas. Not worried about that line because it's on the actual peel off. So now that's a basic background. And that's pretty much all we need. We could always let that dry a little bit, come in and dance some colors around it. But for all intent and purpose, this is good. So we're going to clean off our brush, ring the bell, smacking it from side to side. Don't push down, just push flat. Clean off our brush. There. Now we're going to start with our peel off. We're going to start taking up some of the flowers. And I'm going to show you what I've done for you after I reveal them. 2 of them are overlapped and 1 of them is single on its own. And now we're going to work with some of this pink and gray to show some of the separations, put some beautiful colors on this tulip, and we'll see how it works out. But let's go over here and we're going to lift up the first peel by simply going under, see, and then just peeling off, see, there. And there would be tulip number 1. Let's just go over here and grab another one. Let's go right underneath, peel up, and now we're going to peel up 2, see? And what I've done is inside the flower, it's already represented in black. And we have black in case we need to touch it up. And we also have white in case we need to touch up the edges, which we're going to use to help with our flower decoration. So now we have our background of grass blades, our stems holding up the flowers, and our tulips, which represent the flowers. So now I'm going to close off the yellow, close off the green, and I'm going to open up the pink, and I'm going to open up the white. And that's going to get us started. See? Now this is where the plastic or the plate or palette comes in handy. Because I could take a little bit of white, put it here, and I could take a tiny bit of the pink and just mix it in here. And that's going to help me make a nice light pink. And that's going to help me start showing the indications. Now, if you look, you see that the black is kind of like at an arc. Because there's a petal back here. These 2 points represent 2 other petals. And of course, there's a petal right in the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this pink. And we're just going to go right around the edges of the side. Just a little bit. Like that. And maybe a little bit here. Like that. And then right in here, we're just going to make the shape of a basic petal that sits in the front. Now, of course, this doesn't make any sense right now, but it will in a second. Let's do this one too. A little bit on the side, a little bit on this side, and a little bit of an arc that represents the petal that's right in the front. And let's just do here, we're just going to have to use our creativity because you see where it is here in the arc. So we're just going to go a little bit like this, a little bit like that. And don't worry if the color gets light. You could always go back and add a little bit more. Come here. Let's go back here. Separates those 2. And don't forget that little petal that's right here in the front. Now we're just going to go into some straight white and blend this softly. So we're going to take that white and just add it right to the base of the color, working our way around a little bit. And this is going to represent flower number 1. And this is going to be petal number 1 and 2. And then we'll do the same here where we're softening up those lines with just a little straight white. See, just to soften it up just a little bit. Keeping our basic shape, just soften it up just a little bit. Soften this line up just a little bit more. See? Take straight white. Gonna come right in here and just soften it up. Soften it up just a bit. Soften that up. Soften this edge. Yeah, we're going to come back in with darker pink in a second. It'll all make sense in a few minutes. See how we added some pink, used the white to soften it, but we've left these little distinct separations because now we could take straight pink, and I'm just going to use the plate again. Come right here with the straight pink. And now we're going to add a darker value for this front petal. See, to make it very distinct. And then we're even going to pull a couple of lines like this, kind of like keeping that shape. And then we're going to highlight this one and highlight this one. And now we're just going to be playing back and forth. And when we introduce our final color to all of this, it'll all make sense. Let's do the same thing. Pick up a little pink. It's going to add a little darkness here. Going to make our basic shape. And pull some lines. See? Like that. And then here a little bit darker. Maybe come right around the base here. And then go to our last one. Just pull in a little dark pink. Gonna come right around here, pull some lines, make sure we separate that one, there. And now we're gonna go back into the white, and we're just gonna hit the edges just a little bit, right around in this area, just again to soften it up. Let it be a little dark here, that's fine. Because remember, this is the one that's in the front. I'm just going to soften it up a little bit. Adding the white right into it. We're not pressing really hard. We're just trying to soften it up just a little bit. Leaving some of those lines. Just want to soften it up. See, just soften it up just a tad. Now we're going to clean off our brush. See, it just adds a little color to it. That's all. Just a little color. Now we're going to soften it up. Take some of this white just by itself, and we're just going to introduce it right along the base of our flower. It's right in the contour shape. Right in there. We're going to do the same with this one. Put some white. Because what we're about to do now is we're going to add another color down here. See, I could use the white to take out some of those lines. But anyway, there you go. Soften it up a little bit more. There you go. That looks good. See how that's looking? Now let's open up our gray. And we're just going to tap and get a little bit of that gray. I'm going to come off to the side here and just throw it on the palette. Introduce a little white to it. And right along the base here, I'm just going to bring in some of that gray very lightly. See how light that is? You could hardly see it. And that's what we want. Because this is going to act as the base shadow. So just go a little darker so you can see it. Right along here. Now for this one, I'm going to make sure I stay only in the back of the flower. See, just making sure I put a little bit of that gray. Let it mix in with the pink. Let it mix in with the white. See if I can make this a little bit darker for you. I want you to see it. So for purposes of the demo, I'm going to make it darker. See? See? Right along the base. And we're just going to let it blend upwards. Blending right into the pink, to the white that we had there. See? It's like so. Let it just do that. See? Let's try again here so you can see it. And make sure you stay in that separation, because remember there's two flowers there. See? Just a little. And then we're going to do the last one. Since that one came out so dark, I'm going to have to put a little bit of white to it, just to soften it. Bring it on around at the base of the flower. Let it mix up into the pink. You see that? You could even take this gray and show like a little separation here. You could put a little shadow back in here on that petal that's not facing us. We can't see the front of it. Now we're going to take some white just because and soften this a little bit more. See how the white comes back in and just introduces a softer look. This is called blending, by the way. And by blending, you're adding shadows that are not so distinct, but yet they show a slight separation of curvature, of front. See, soften it up just a little bit. Soften this one up a little bit. See, we're just playing with blending right now to soften it up a little bit. Because it should be a very light color. I darkened it only so that you can see it, but we don't want to leave it quite that dark. We want it to have that look. Now, we go back to our pink for our final run. And this is where we want just pink to kind of show the flower. And here, we're going to very carefully put in some color that just stands up all by itself. See that? So go back into some pink and go right along the edge. Just a little bit to show that one in the back. And this one off to the side. See? And by adding just this very strong pink now, we start to show our flower has a little bit more character. Let's go back over here, right along the edge. We're just adding, this is the distinct character now. Remember, it's a painting, it's not a photograph. So we're doing a little artistic touch-up. We're almost finished. Oh, this is nice. Right along the tip, like so. Along this edge. Mother Nature is so beautiful. She makes so many different beautiful things that an artist could spend a lifetime trying to interpret, mimic it. Could never truly copy it. I don't care how realistic a painting gets. Mother Nature always has its subtleties that no real hand could ever really achieve. There. And now let's soften it up at the edges by introducing what? A little bit of white. Right along the edges. Just to soften it up. Just a little. There. Bringing it right down into that gray. See? Blend it softly. Let it blend together a little bit. There. There you go. Now we just do the last one. Soften it up a little bit. We're not taking too much out. We're just softening it up. Mushing it a little bit. Just so that the colors will stand up. And we have our finished painting. See? Just that simple. Just that simple. You've taken a few colors, pushed them around a little bit, and became creative. Well, I hope you had fun. I know I did. And I look forward to painting with you again.